Welcome to a replay analysis of Steve versus the NBA Jams. Now I'm going to pause it right here because this was a little bit of a weird game, mainly because in real life, the coach of NBA Jams is my friend and got me into Blood Bowl with Chaos Edition. He also had a team that was beat to hell. So he had one, two, three loner linemen and got a blitzer with inducement money, which, like, he was down a few guys, so even that blitzer did not match up with what he would do. So you'll both see us do some strange-ish things. I also had one loner because I forgot to hire the zombie I got from killing a dude last game. He elected to receive, as you can see, because of the way I'm setting up. He went very line heavy here. And I assume his thought was to get his 3 points on Pistol Pete Marmalade. Way in back. I got lucky and got a blitz. I feel like I made a few mistakes on this blitz. I should have blitzed over here on his loner. In general, the rule is leave the loners and go for his actual positionals because the loners won't really be able to utilize rerolls. So that was my thought here, but because of the position of the ball, I probably should have blitzed the loner off. Claw didn't do its work. But I was able to get back safely. I feel like I based a little bit too much in turn 1, and it kind of hurt, or turn 0 during the blitz, and it kind of hurt my prospects later on. I'm going to pause to respond quick. Friend who wants to start playing Blood Bowl. So I got lucky here in that I at least had one guy not go down. And this is the problem with me basing, is I got lucky here that he only had a push. But in theory, like, I gave him too many free hits here that I should not have because of the amount of basing I did. Luckily, he didn't pick up the ball, and he already used his reroll on his first turn, so that kind of opened a lot of everything up for me. I got the stupid pushes again. My general rule is to keep the blitzers as free, or not the blitzers, the guard pieces as free as possible, the whites, and of course use the other dudes to blitz. Now, you'll see I had a free opportunity over here to surf his positional because he's my friend and I knew he was down, and I was feeling super confident. I felt like I didn't want to, so instead I just hit him. I mean, it really, at that point, it's not super horrible, but if I was playing anyone else, I probably surf the blitzer right there. I chose not to use my blitz this turn. Probably a mistake. Blitzes are something you should use as much as possible. I didn't really have a good angle on anyone, but even then I still probably should have blitzed somewhere. And I left myself open for a few things. That helped a lot that he had to use wrestle there, so it took another guy down. His whole thought here, because we were of course talking during the match, was he was going to throw to that guy who had a half cage ready built, and he had a bunch of my guys caged up. Luckily, he burnt a lot of his rerolls early. And the pass was inaccurate. It was kind of funny. We all thought that the lineman was going to catch it just from dumb luck. But his lack of being able to use a reroll there hurt him. So I got some free punches in. Got an armor break. Armor breaks are always nice. Wanted to free up my wolf. Rolled dub skulls, but you know, that happens. Decided to scatter the ball because it was his turn, and with that guy down, he wasn't going to have too much of an opportunity to pick up the ball. Got a nice quick injury, which helps a bunch. That brought him back down to the 11 players and put me up a man for this half. And then just got over here to secure the ball as much as possible. Really plan on using the flesh golems to kind of just occupy his blitzers, because he'd need assistance and a dauntless roll to go at them or to dodge out, which is very possible. Interesting play that kind of worked out for him is the blitz on the wolf. I actually thought he was going to try to get in and blitz the ball carrier, but he decided against it. He did at this point leave this side of the field pretty open, especially because I can stand firm, so I can make sure he can't like really escape the tackle zone. And then with this block failing, he left a real big area over here open, which was nice. Now I was debating a bunch of things here to blitz him off here and do something there. Took my 2 dice first to see how that would go. Probably should have followed that in hindsight. Here, definite follow. Got a KO, which was huge. So that puts me up 2 players in the half. It was his kick, and I have the ball, so now I'm feeling super confident. Gave myself a 1 die here. Probably a mistake, especially because he has wrestle. A dodge would have been a better opportunity there, really. Technically the same. It's 67% each way, but it's kind of scary when you roll yourself into a bad play. At least if I was dodging out, I would have had the opportunity to choose where I would fail and scatter the ball. He did some crazy dodge action here. Like impressive, I would say, with his blitz. And then got a POW, which scares me because my white is niggled. Thankfully, no armor break. And the best scatter I could hope for. and then he got dub skulls on his -2 and got KO'd, which put me up another player. So right now, he's down 3, I'm down nothing. So I'm feeling, as I said, super confident. At this point, I'm really like, I'm saying who do I want to score on, because Krob got the ball. I was still thinking let's go with Krob because that's 3 points to level. I also have George, who's 3 points away from leveling, and got another KO here. So now, like, I've basically, he's got 3 positionals left, and the rest are just linemen. So I just want to occupy the linemen with the zombies, keep my guard pieces open, and go from there. This was a little scary of a block here. I plan on taking a 2-die. This was probably also a mistake of putting him there, just because that is still giving a 1-die. The 2-die worked. With the stun, that even helped even more, because at this point I saw that it freed George up. George is also 3 points away from leveling. So at this point I said let's get the ball to George next turn if at all possible. Got a good pickup. Moved him over here to get him away from this blitz. I thought about putting him here, but that would have potentially given him some marking opportunities and a blitz op from these two guys. He got some good blocks in there, and with that block he kind of opened up a bunch of things. Again, some good dodges. And some good GFIs. But sadly, just a block. At that point, I said, this guy's angering me. Luckily, I only got a push here. So with that, I decided that guy is getting surf next turn, because he keeps getting in my way. So over here I position George out of position for everyone but that guy because he can't reach, and he has to dodge around. Go over the surf, as discussed. He has dodge, chooses to use it. I choose to reroll here. It's a great reroll, won't lie. But I wanted that surf. And then just set up this guy so he has an even tougher dodge out. Because as I said, I'm going to be giving the ball to George over here. Set up these guys so I can throw some blocks. Before I throw these blocks though, I move my guy because I've already used my reroll. And the most important action is this handoff action. Probably would have been better had I been able to position right there, but I couldn't really get there, so decided against it. Got a stun there. Have this guy pretty much in a bad dodge position. He pulls some more dodge magic and fails the easy one, but re-rolls that into a success. And then of course he rolls a POW. So like he's getting some pretty good die at the moment. Then gets a stun, but the scatter's not the best for him. He still picks it up. This guy's just a champion over here. He rolled so many single die POWs. This guy not so much. He rolled a lot of both downs for him. So over here I say, well, I can surf someone else. Let's set myself up for that. But first, let's get the ball free. That is the most important thing. Thought is, put this guy in such a cage, there's no way he gets out. Turns out I roll a couple pushes. Decide against the reroll here because that's a little too greed for me, especially with that guy's skill set. I mean, the chance of failure of that would have been low, but still, it's not something I want to do. Got another KO, so like he's down to this one positional at this point. His plan here was to throw to Kuzi. Yeah, that didn't happen because he failed his dodge. No re-rolls, and got stuck over there in the injury box. Thought here was, let's score on George, have a re-roll, do the handoff, fail the handoff, but that's why we have a re-roll. Success. That was a little bit of a tense moment. Just kind of mark everyone from here. See if I can get one or two dies. Really wanted to blitz his loner dude, but didn't really have an angle into it. Could have probably knocked him off. Probably best I didn't because rolled a nice little dub skull. It was embarrassing, but you can't win them all. He was trying a crazy blitz there just for funsies. Failed it. And then I just waltz in, get the level on George, which is a big one. Plan for him is to go wrestle tackle. That way, like, he's going to be my ball hawk. I don't have too many elf teams coming up shortly, so I'm hoping I can get him tackle by the time I face the big elf teams. And I've already faced Spoonie's team, so I don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to pause this right here so we can talk about the fun of Sweltering Heat. So Sweltering Heat, well, first, all of his KOs got up except for one, which was good for him because he had a bunch. The only one was his loner blitzer, which means he's down 3. Had a reserve, so he's down 2 on the pitch, so he's fielding 9 right now. I have 11 on my team. Didn't get anyone knocked out or injured, but Sweltering Heat took out 5 for my drive. So I'm sitting here with 6 players, and 4 of the 5 that were taken out were positionals, so I have 2 positionals and 4 zombies, which is amazing how many ones I rolled versus the none ones he rolled, but that's luck. So I'm kind of scrambling. I was thinking about putting everyone on the line here and not even worrying about the ball. Decided against it because it could give him an opportunity if I had everyone up on the line to get a short kick or something weird and be able to convert that into a good play. So I decided to keep dudes on the line and then put my wolf back. Hopefully we can at least run around or do something. He is missing a bunch of positionals. Both teams lose a turn. I like that. That was something I was like, all right, I have to run around for less than 1 turn. So that was nice. Thanks for giving me the weird view, dude. Got some nice 2 dies. Can't hate on those. And this is where things really started turning for me. Oh, I guess not. Guess it's next turn. So at least, like, being down 3 guys, I knocked 3 of his guys down, so he has the ability to currently do 2 blocks on me. 3 rerolls, so I decide not to reroll this pickup failure. It's back far enough that I know he can't get to the ball, and I'm not going to do much movement with it anyway, so keeping my guy back there is probably the safer option anyway. He starts rebasing my guys, which is smart. Really, like, have a little, like, if he can surround these 4 and not let them move anywhere, it's just going to make his position that much stronger. And that's a smart move by him. And then making sure he marks everyone else. And like, I'm really feeling the pressure here because I have 4 guys, 3 of whom, well, all 4 technically are in base contact, so all 4 could throw blocks. 1 guy down and a werewolf back here. And this is when things do start going well. So Fat Patrick decides he's going to get injured by Mr. Loner. But that helps. That, sets it back. Now he's down to 8, and I'm still at 6. Do a GFI here to block both of these guys. Give myself a 2 die here. That one also works out well because Nice Tim dies. And of course that means I can raise him from the dead. And it was good. Failed to pick up this time because he's so close. I decide to re-roll and it will give me a good amount of movement. Do a little cheeky play here and try to hand off to the Flesh Golem just to get the ball a little bit safer. Also because I have so many dudes around, there's a good chance it scatters in a direction that's south. That helps, and then he rolls skulls and both down. Koozi's just really failed his team hard there. And this kind of sets me up where I'm wide open to just go. So I blitz his only positional in the area off. Plus that allows me to keep him in base contact, get the pickup, and then just start running away. This guy you can tell can still base right there, so I use a GFI to get out of his base range and just say, that's good for me. The plan is score quick. The way that Sweltering Heat works is it's only the players on the pitch that have to roll, so I'm guaranteed more players on the pitch than I am right now, even if I roll all once. That getting the injury hurt, but he regened, which was great, meaning like now I'm guaranteed at least 8 players on the pitch even if I roll all once. This injury, sadly, regen did not take form. So right now he's at 15-16 and actually leveled one of his linemen. I decide we're just going to score right away, get my forces back. He has, at this point, 4 injuries that can't come back in 1 knockout. So like it makes more sense to me to just get my guys back and kick off to him, not try to delay. This way I can throw more blocks. I had 2 failures for my Sweltering Heat. It stinks that the kicker was one of them, but you can't win them all. He also had a Sweltering Heat failure. And got his... He really traded the knocked out guy for Sweltering Heat, which is unfortunate because the knocked out guy was the loner. And now this puts me in a very, very good position. Obviously, like, I'm going to win the game because I'm up 2, but it puts me in a position to score again because I outnumber him by a lot. And I still have 1 fast ball hawk. I'm not really a ball hawk, more of a killer. Didn't really do too much this game, sadly, but, it'll work out. It'll work out. So he decides here, his first play is going to be a pass. Fails it the first time, gets a re-roll. He wanted that level point, which is smart. Like, make sure you get the level on him. That's the most important thing. And then it's kind of funny that he's punching his own loner. We laughed about that a good amount. The armor doesn't really hold too well, but that's okay. he jokingly just follows him and gets sent off, which is funny, but he did that because, of course, Nice Tim was the guy that died on him, so he was like, now you die. And, of course, I know these things because, as I said, we were talking about it earlier. So I set up to blitz Mr. Vince Chutney over here. And now I'm not afraid of base contact because of the fact that I'm up. So if I get my two big guys out there that he can only get like a one die on, even with Dauntless, I think that'll really help. So that's what I try to do right now, is get some good base contact. And then at this point, like, I can chase him no matter where he goes. He decides he's just going to get more points because right now he probably can't get through the line anyway. His only hope probably would have been right here. But even then, like, I would have been able to get my wolf on him. He takes some negative dice. It works out for him. I think it's a one die. It also works out for him. It's always scary when the players turn over, but just the stun. At this point, I have a clear view at the ball, and I'm going for it, obviously, because we're greedy. I also would like to get Krob his 3 points. And that's the plan here. I put him in scoring position because it's turn 15. And then I blitz here. Get a push. And a push. It's quite unfortunate. And a push. As you can see, it's pushes all day. He rolls that well, but then throws a pass, and I decide to pick it off, which is great. Great job, Kurt. Best thing you did. As opposed to, well, I can't blitz with Kurt, so I just get him out of dodge. Hand off. Look around and say I can't get really any great blocks, so just go and score. Get the level, which will be the second leveled positional of the game. He'll go tackle to, again, provide a good blitz threat. Had he rolled doubles, something like dodge or sidestep would have been good for him, but I feel like having a tackle piece to blitz anything with dodge is also useful. So I just kind of group my guys up, say, go beat him. Maybe get another vanity point to set him up. Now the weather turns to nice, of course. No sweltering heat. Last turn of the game. He fails the pickup, and that's the end of the game. Overall, a much needed game, especially I got an MVP on my Flesh Golem, so now my Flesh Golem has block. So my team value is going up. I ended up with 22 SPP. He got 11. His one guy got 9 by himself, so he got 4 points plus the MVP, which is really good. 11 armor breaks, 8 armor breaks. There were a lot of injuries for those armor breaks. He self-inflicted one, though, which if I go over to statistics, you'll be able to see. But he inflicted 2 injuries in his armor breaks. I inflicted 3, one of them being a kill, and some KOs. So he sustained 4 KOs, 4 casualties, a death, and I picked him off once. He only Had 2 casualties on me, no KOs, which was nice. He actually threw more blocks than me, but that's fine. I don't like to see it, but as I said, I positioned my guys in some bad positions to start. Thanks for watching, and see everyone next week.